Thank you for tuning in. This is the second episode of Law Explained. Today's episode, Driving Under the Influence. Driving under the influence, or as we know it, DUI, is the offense of driving, operating, or being in control of a vehicle while impaired by alcohol or drugs, including recreational drugs and those prescribed by physicians, not restricting to illegally obtained or illegal drugs, to a level that renders the driver incapable of operating a motor vehicle safely. It's also called driving while impaired / driving while intoxicated, DWI, drunk driving, operating while intoxicated, OWI, operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs, OVI. In Ohio, drink driving, UK and Ireland, or impaired driving, Canada. The name of offense varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction and from legal to colloquial terminology. In the United States, the specific criminal offense is usually called driving under the influence, but in some states, driving while intoxicated, DWI, operating while impaired, OWI, or operating while ability impaired, operating a vehicle under the influence, OVI, etc. Such laws may also apply for boating or piloting aircraft. Vehicles can all include farm machinery and horse-drawn carriages, along with bicycles. Other commonly used terms to describe these offenses include drinking and driving, drunk driving, drunken driving, impaired driving, operating under the influence, or over the prescribed limit. In the United Kingdom, there are two separate offences to do with alcohol and driving. The first is driving or attempting to drive with excess alcohol, legal code DR10. The other is known as in charge of a vehicle with excess alcohol, legal code DR40, or drunk in charge, due to the wording of the Licensing Act of 1872. In relation to motor vehicles, the Road Safety Act 1967 created a narrower offense of driving or being in charge of a vehicle while having to breathe blood or urine alcohol levels above the prescribed limits, colloquially called being over the limit, and a broader offense of driving while unfit to drink or drugs, DR20 and DR80 respectively, which can apply even with levels below the limits. These provisions were reenacted in the Road Traffic Act of the 1988, and separate offense in the 1988 Act applies to bicycles. While the 1872 Act is mostly superseded, the offense of being drunk while in charge of any carriage, horse, cow, or steam engine is still in force. Carriage has sometimes been interpreted as including mobility scooters. Definition: the criminal offense may not involve actual driving of the vehicle, but rather may broadly include being physically in control of the car while intoxicated. Even if the person charged is not in the act of driving, for example, a person found in the driver's seat of a car while intoxicated and holding the car keys, even while parked, may be charged with a DUI, because he or she is in control of the vehicle. In construing the terms DUI, DWI, OWI, and OVI, some states, unknown which, therefore make it illegal to drive a motor vehicle which, under the influence of or driving while intoxicated, while others indicate it is illegal to operate a motor vehicle. There is a split of authority across the U.S. regarding this issue. Some states, unknown which, permit enforcement of the DUI, DWI, and OWI and OVI statutes based on operation and control of the vehicle, while others, unknown, require actual driving. The distinction between these two terms is material, for it is generally held that the word drive, as used in statutes of this kind, usually denotes movement of the vehicle in some direction, velocity, whereas the word operate has a broader meaning so as to include not only the motion of the vehicle, but also the acts which engage the machinery of the vehicle that, alone or in sequence, will set in motion the motive power of the vehicle. State v. Graves, 1977, 296 SC 356 237 SE 2D 584 586 to 588 586 FN 8. Merriam-Webster's dictionary describes DUI in the United States as 1. The act or crime of driving a vehicle while affected by alcohol or drugs. 2. An arrest or conviction for driving under the influence. And 3. A person who is arrested for or convicted of driving under the influence. In some countries, including Australia and many jurisdictions throughout the United States, a person can be charged with criminal offense for riding a bicycle, skateboard, or horse while intoxicated under the influence of alcohol. Driving under the influence is one of the largest risk factors that can contribute to traffic collisions for people in Europe between the age of 15 and 29. Driving under the influence is one of the main cases of death or mortality. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, alcohol-related crashes cause approximately $37 billion in damages annually. DUI and alcohol-related crashes produce an estimated $45 billion in damages every year. Between attorney fees, fines, court fees, ignition, airlock devices, and DMV fees, a DUI charge could cost thousands to $10,000s of dollars. Citation needed. Studies show that a high BAC increases the risk of collisions, whereas it is not clear if a BAC of 0.01 to 0.05% slightly increases or decreases the risk. In the U.S., southern and northern central states have the highest prevalence of fatalities, deaths, due to DUI collisions. A 2019 study that weighed arrest and census figures with National Highway Traffic Safety Admission stats on fatal crashes found that 7 of the 12 states with the highest DUI rates are southern, led by Carolinas, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. But the most DUI fatalities per capita are found in the north central region, where Wyoming, Montana, and the Dakotas top the overall ranking as the states with the most acute DUI crisis. That will be all for today. Next episode will be drugs and the act of possessing illegal drugs or overdosing on prescription drugs. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again soon.